Have you noticed your gas mileage falling off, or are we just talking about an emotional number? Because I know my wallet hurts when I go to the gas pump right now. I am Dave Riccio, along with Jon Riggle. We are your hosts of the Bumper to Bumper podcast. We are putting you in the know when it comes to your car. And I had a friend call me the other day. He said, man, my gas mileage is falling off. And I'm like, is it, or is it just emotional? And so we had that conversation and we talked through it, Jon. And you said, hey, until it's fallen off by 20%, I'm not really looking too hard. And he was looking at that real-time fuel economy mileage. You see that thing go up and down, and those things are pretty accurate.
Yeah, the display in the car, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But 20%, let's talk about that.
Yeah. That's, we have to be careful when we're splitting hairs with, fuel mileage, because fuel mileage changes constantly. Mm-hmm. And there can be small variations in it. And it can be dependent on a lot of things that I can't fix. It can be driving habits that change. Somebody is getting to be summer, somebody's getting more aggressive when they drive the car. Yeah, the fuel economy is going to drop off. So I have to have something that I can actually work with, So, and just the rule of thumb that I use is if you bring your car in and say, hey, my fuel economy is getting worse, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what is your fuel economy? I want a number, okay? Right. You can't just say it's not getting as good a mileage as it used to, unless it's really significant. If the thing's down, if you had a car that normally got 30 miles a gallon, you're down, 15, 16 miles a gallon. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we got a problem.
But I got to have some kind of number. You can't just walk in and say, yeah, I'm spending more at the pump every week, and well, prices are going up at the pump every week, too. Right. So we got a lot of things we got to be careful of there when we chase this.
Well, I joke about emotional number because someone will come and tell me something. I'll go, oh, that's an emotional number. But we have to understand, how do you calculate fuel mileage?
Right.
We do have that real time. And most of these modern cars, they say, hey, you're getting like 18 miles per gallon right now. Yeah. And those actually do get reset at some point. So sometimes they get thrown off. But for the most part, they're pretty close. But how are you going to measure fuel economy? You're essentially going to go to the pump, and you're going to set the trip meter. When you get gas, you're going to fill it up all the way. So we're starting with a full tank.
Yep.
And you're going to go drive the car, and the next time you gas up, you're going to go see how many gallons you used, and then you're going to divide the mileage that you traveled by those gallons, and you're going to get a number from that.
Yep.
And I wouldn't necessarily just do it on one fill-up.
Yeah.
And there is apps on your phone. I'd use one like decades ago that was... but it would chart out my gas mileage so I can kind of see it. And you could actually see the difference between the seasons, because the fuel changes a lot of times in summer. Right. I know in Arizona, they bypassed the fuel change this year because of the price of gas.
Yeah, this year the governor got us an exemption, so we're not actually using the winter blend or the summer blend fuels this year.
So that's how you calculate gas mileage. So it's not an emotional number, but let's put some figures to it, because it just feels off or seems different. We don't want that. It's hard for us as a shop to do it. And it was my friend Rob who was telling me about it, and he said he was getting 33 consistently, and now he's down to 17% consistently. That's about a 20% fall off. So that's worth taking a look at. For sure. So. Yeah. What's the first thing you're looking at when somebody comes in and they're complaining about gas mileage?
Well, we're going to go drive the car, make sure the car drives properly. I'm going to take a look at it, make sure all the tires aren't flat. That's one of the things that people overlook is air pressure has an effect on fuel economy, fuel mileage. So we need to keep the tires inflated to the proper inflation specification. And then I'm going to look and I'm going to scan the thing. I'm going to see if there's any information in the onboard computer system that leads me anywhere, trouble codes, anything like that. If there's trouble codes, we're going to see if they relate. And then I'm going to go take it for a drive, and I'm going to watch the fuel trim values in my scan data. And the fuel trims are what give us an indication as to whether we're having to compensate for in-use deterioration. We're adding fuel or taking fuel away or adding extra fuel when we shouldn't be. Sometimes we can see that. We can see logic errors that show up there where we're over-fueling for one reason or another. So that's basically where I'm going to start with it.
Yeah, fuel trims. We did another show on fuel trims that people can go look at. It's a more in-depth look at fuel trims, what they are, their short-term, long-term fuel trims. Yeah. And is there been some compensation? So tires, junk in the trunk. I mean, some people drive around with crap in their car.
I said that before anybody bagged on me. I've seen cars with, I've seen cars with a case of water in the trunk. a full-size 2.5-ton floor jack. You know, the guy's got a vise back there. Is like, man, there's a lot of stuff in the back.
A lot
of
of
this
stuff,
car.
a lot of stuff. And depending on your livelihood, there
And
may be bodies in
and
there.
everybody bagged. I mean, this is weight's not that important. Weight's not that important. It is. And the reason weight's important is it doesn't take anything. Once you get that car up and going down the road, it takes very little horsepower to keep that car going at 50 miles an hour. Getting from 0 to 50, every pound that you put in there has an effect on the fuel mileage. And that's free money right there.
Gas right
take
there.
the stuff, take the junk out of the car that you don't need in the thing, right? Just get it out. It may not make a giant difference, but it will make some difference.
Well, this is one thing that's come up is that light ignoring, right? Not everyone, but you see these people that do have the check engine light on. And the first thing they say, because I call, when they call in and they're making an appointment, I say, is there any lights on?
Yeah.
Oh, the check engine light is on, but it's just for an emissions thing.
Yeah. And they didn't tell you that the TPMS light is also on because every car that rolls in has a TPMS
Tire
light
pressure
on
monitoring light.
Everybody ignores the tire pressure monitor light.
Two big lights that get ignored, but two things that affect your fuel mileage. So that check engine light that people ignore, the one that's the evaporative emission light, that's the one they don't fix, but that's costing them fuel economy.
Yeah. So they went somewhere with the check engine light on. Somebody, checked it out and says, oh, that's just emissions related. You don't necessarily need to fix that. It won't hurt anything. Here's the problem with that thinking is part of what that system does is monitor the evaporative emissions fuel system on your car. So your car has a 30-gallon gas tank full of fuel. There's always vapor that we have to vent this fuel tank. We can't have it sealed. It's got to be vented one way or another. But we can't vent fuel vapor into the atmosphere, right? So what we do is we vent it into a charcoal canister that stores the hydrocarbon vapor. And eventually at some point when we start the car or we're driving down the road, we will pull that fuel vapor out, run it through the engine and burn it. Okay. So one of the things we have to do is make sure that when these cars are, that these fuel systems are sealed. When this car shuts off, we need to make sure that there's no leaks in these fuel systems, right? Because if we have a leak in the evaporative emissions fuel system, we are going to just have fuel vapor continuously go into the atmosphere, right? If it's in the right portion of the system, we can have leaks that will your fuel will just
Evaporate,
vaporize.
Your money's evaporating. Right? It's liquid gold at this point.
Yeah. And so that's why I say, even though it's just an emissions light, it's important. It's more important than that, and that's a safety issue too. I've seen a lot of people that say, "Oh yeah, we don't fix evap systems. We don't do that. It's not a big deal, and stuff." And I'm thinking, if I got a car sitting in my garage that is vaporizing fuel into the atmosphere in the garage in my house, that's a safety issue.
Yeah,
right?
No,
Right. So you have to think about that. But beyond the safety aspect, that can have a big effect on fuel economy because you can boil off a lot of fuel real quick, especially with our temperatures here.
Well, driving habits are a huge effect on fuel economy. So if you said, maybe it's summertime, you're feeling pretty good, you're throwing your foot in the gas all the time.
Yeah.
When you go wide open throttle all the way to the floor, I mean, you are just pumping fuel in there.
Yeah.
When you're cruising down the road at 75 and it's not using a lot of fuel.
Driving habits is probably the biggest thing, that a consumer can do to improve gas mileage, and unless there's somebody that's already driving, that way. But I know for me, I mean, my car's got a digital throttle. The thing makes probably 80 horse on a good day. That thing's either wide open or all the way off. And so I don't worry too much about it. We'll tell you on a Matrix, gets good mileage.
It's a commuter car. You drive a long way to get here at Tri-City Transmission.
Yeah. Now the Mercedes is a different story. I may be backpedaling that one a lot because that's premium fuel at $5 a gallon kind of hurts. So.
My vehicle that I like to drive is a Toyota Tacoma, but I've also got a Mini Cooper. And it was a car somebody wanted to fix, but that thing gets 33 miles a gallon.
Yeah,
so
there
I'm
you
like,
go.
that's great. So anyway, if you're concerned about your fuel mileage, get some real numbers. Put some real numbers to it. See if there really is a problem.
Yep.
And if there's a problem, these are the things that we're going to start looking at. So glad you could join us here on the Bumper to Bumper podcast. Please, if you like the video, if you find something interesting, if you want us to put out more content like this, definitely subscribe. It makes us feel good, makes us enjoy what we do, and also get the word out. We're trying to get the word out so people know what to do when it comes to their car. And really, it lowers anxiety. Good facts trump compulsive thought about all these things in my car. And we want to make sure you're not an automotive hypochondriac. We want you to relax when it comes to your car, but get some good information so that you can make some good decisions. This is the Bumper to Bumper podcast with Jon Riggle and Dave Riccio, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Well, hello, I'm Dave Riccio, your host of the Bumper to Bumper podcast, and I would like to thank you for tuning in. If you want one of your car questions to be answered on our podcast, tap the link in the description for a chance to have your question featured. And while you are there, we would love for you to like and subscribe to see more Bumper to Bumper podcasts in the future.